First of all, Starscream, I don't know why you're laughing.
Because the take was horrendous and you said Yamcha Solo's composite Marvel.
You see, Starscream, I'm not even gonna blame you for this, because when you say something as horrendous sounding as Yamcha slamming composite Marvel, yeah, it will get a lot of people mad, a lot of toxic Marvel fans, a lot of regular Marvel fans like you, it will get them mad because Yamcha is this fodder Dragon Ball character and Marvel is this really large verse, so it does sound horrendous. But when you actually go and do some research on the Dragon Ball cosmology and scaling, you find out that it's not a stretch and it's not something that's so horrendous, which is why I keep telling you to debate me, or even if you don't want to debate, just discuss with me on this. I can give you solid evidence as to why the Dragon Ball cosmology is far higher than you think and why Yamcha scales significantly to those aspects of the cosmology. It's not that hard.
Suppose you're under the impression that you're gonna make me look bad or like a joke.
With takes like this, absolutely.
Oh, so you do watch my content. Well, you ignore the fact that I have entire 30-minute and above videos rebunking Dragon Ball. So if you would mind, go watch those videos before saying my takes are bad. Because in those videos, I have in-depth explanations about the Dragon Ball cosmology, which most of you don't know because you do not read guidebooks and you do not understand how to read content.
I literally said Man-Thing, a Nexus being, wasn't capable of holding it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have our first lie. Here's why I exposed Starscream for blatantly lying.
I completely understand as a Mexican man, it is a stereotype that my people lie, but I lied about nothing.
Bro, I'm just gonna ask you one question. Where in my entire video did I imply that you were lying because you were Mexican? Like, I don't even know about the stereotype for Mexican people lying. Like, where in the video did I imply that? That's irrelevant. I'm actually very offended with you taking it toward the racial aspects. Like, I'm very offended. That's really immature of you.
I can only record 3 minutes, but basically he was saying I was lying because in the first video I never mentioned that Man-Thing was a Nexus being, but that's pretty common knowledge.
Oh, Starscream, maybe I have to teach you logical fallacies again. This right here is an appeal to common sense fallacy, asserting that your conclusion or facts are just common sense when in fact they are not. We must argue as to why we believe something is common sense if there is any doubt that the belief is not common, rather than just asserting that it is. This is a more specific version of an alleged certainty fallacy. This can also be described as a fallacy of the assumed conclusion, or the fallacy of the false cause. It occurs when someone assumes that you should know something because they believe it to be common knowledge without providing any actual evidence or reasoning to support their claim. This fallacy can lead to misunderstandings and unfair expectations on the part of the person making the assumption. This is exactly what you did, Starscream, so don't deny it.
But even in the first video, I did present a feat because Man-Thing, I still said that he was an aspect of Toe.
And yet you failed to give a reasoning as to why him being the aspect of Toe would be impressive. Bro, you have to learn to actually scale the characters and not just mention stuff, random stuff out of midair. You can't just assume that people know stuff. Like I already explained, that's logically fallacious. Within a dialectical method, you are inherently required to provide evidence to all of your claims. Assuming that your opponent knows about what you're trying to scale is already fallacious in of itself.
And then you were complaining that I didn't show scans to show this. It's very common knowledge that Man-Thing is the guardian of the Nexus of all realities.
Oh God, Starscream, I'm literally trying my best to keep my brain cells intact.
Not only is he the guardian of the Nexus of all realities, he controls it.
Okay, I'm gonna just take this as a concession on the previous point, because one, you never provided these scans in your previous video. You're just introducing these scans now, so I'm gonna just take that as a concession, bro.
The same Nexus of all realities that is stated to destroy all of time and space should it implode.
Okay, so that's just 4D. You didn't provide any much context.
This is a cross-dimensional gateway which provides a pathway to any and all possible realities, which includes realities between realities, being strongly implied that it's one place in the entire multiverse where all the realities naturally intersect.
Bro, I'm just gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and say that whatever is in that scan is valid, but you cannot lie that you didn't pull that scan from like Versus Battle Wiki or a Marvel fandom wiki, which you would have to prove why they have any authority or any kind of credibility in this matter. If you're gonna try scaling a character or a cosmology, at least try using authentic scans for him.
So this scan of Man-Thing not being able to contain Ghost Rider despite having all this power, that's a feat. And this was in Man-Thing's own team.
So you successfully scaled Ghost Rider to multiversal. Beautiful.
X power, okay, scale the power. Scale the power of God.
Who is God in Marvel? I mean, it's Toa. You know, the one that created the Marvel Omniverse.
I'm gonna preface this by saying that you didn't provide evidence for that as well. Even though I know that yes, Toa did create the Marvel Multiverse, but actually provide a scan that states that. Bro, you're in a debate. You can't assume that your opponent will know exactly what you're trying to scale. It's fallacious. And I don't know why you're saying Marvel Omniverse like it's supposed to be impressive. Dragon Ball is verbatim stated to have an Omniverse. omniverse is just synonymous for multiverse, so it doesn't inherently imply a larger cosmology. You'd have to substantiate that. So I don't know why you're screaming the word omniverse like it's supposed to be impressive. It's really not.
The same Toa that Jack Kirby and Stan Lee, both non-fictional characters, are.
You know, I could say the exact same thing for Toribot, right? What's interesting is that when you Google who Toribot is, it brings up Toribot, basically describing him as the author of Dragon Ball, the avatar of Akira Toriyama in the series. And there's multiple scans, which I can't find, by the way, which show Toribot drawing Dragon Ball, which show Toribot being above Dragon Ball heroes. So there's basically no distinction between Toribot and Toa based off of what you sent. And what's interesting is that they literally show Toa in the same Google search as Toribot to show that they're representing the same type of being, a being that created a cosmology.
You know, the one that created literally everything.
Sounds familiar.
So, yeah, this does hold a lot of weight to it. So yeah, me saying that, you know, he beat someone that had the power of God in him, that holds a lot of weight.
Based off of the scans you provided, you established that Marvel had a multiverse, and then you said Toa created it, which would just make Toa multiversal, based off of what you sent. So it's not really that impressive.
You would be the person who's wrong.
Nuh-uh.
Ghost Riders doesn't have, he's immune to existence erasure.
Oh, that's interesting. Matter of fact, let's see if he actually proves it.
Oh, I'm glad you find it amusing, because he verbatim states that he can never be erased.
Okay, so I'm gonna just take this on as a concession on a previous point, because not only did you not provide this scan in your previous video, you're just introducing it now, but saying he will never be erased is vague. You have to prove whether it's referring to existence erasure, because I can literally destroy something and say that I erased it. So you have to prove the context is actually referring to existence erasure. You have to prove it's referring to actual existence erasure, because just saying we will never be erased is vague. Erase can also just mean destroy. So what's the context?
Ghost Rider is death itself.
It doesn't say that in your scan, Starscream. Also, who gives a fuck about death, bro? Existence erasure removes you from existence. It doesn't kill you.
Again, going back to this, I feel like I'm talking in circles. If it is not a holy weapon, or if it's not God himself, you cannot kill a Ghost Rider.
Funny how in my previous video I already established that this was a no limits fallacy. Please stop repeating yourself. It makes you sound dumb.
Even when Goku tried to use Hakai and Zamasu, it didn't work.
Bro, you are fucking ratty, bro. Not only did I address this in my previous video, which would mean that you ignored that part, I just call it an invincible ignorance fallacy, but the reason why Goku was not able to erase Zamasu was because, number one, Goku just used a Hakai for the first time, so it's not going to be perfect. It's literally stated to be an imperfect form of Hakai. He hadn't mastered it yet. He used it for the first fucking time. And the second thing is that it was actually erasing Zamasu. Zamasu just put his hand in a portal and grabbed Mai and used Mai as a shield. Obviously, Goku's Hakai is not going to be as efficient as Beerus' Hakai. Beerus has been using it for millions of years. Goku just used it once for the first time. So to say that it didn't work as a reason to dismiss it, to say that Goku doesn't have the Hakai, is pretty stupid of you.
Oh yeah, also, Hakai's verbatim stated that it can't kill immortals, so yeah, this would be useless against Ghost Rider.
Where in the panel does it say that that's Hakai? Also, I literally explained this in my previous video, which is literally supported and rebunked by the fact that Goku is literally using Hakai on Zamasu, who is immortal, and it's literally working. The only reason it didn't work is because Zamasu put his head in a portal and put out Mai and used it to distract Goku, which was what prevented him from being erased. If you read the manga, you would know. Also supported by the fact that Beerus can literally erase ghosts, which don't physically age or die. You're literally immortal beings. Now, I honestly couldn't find the scans for these, but I really tried. But apparently, like, the Hakai is implied to be capable of erasing Arale, and Arale is a gag character with pretty insane high plot resistance, a lot of fucking broken hacks, bro. Like, Arale can bring herself back from being erased by the plot. So, like, for the Hakai to be implied to be capable of erasing Arale, it shows how impressive the Hakai is. Like, so, Starscream, that would be another invincible ignorance fallacy from you, because you ignored verbatim evidence which I put in the video.
When I call the so-called high tier power scalers of the TikTok community retarded, I have a reason for saying so.
I've never once called myself to be one of the quote-unquote high tiers of Anti-Talk, nor have I ever said that I was a debater.
I'm gonna preface this part by saying I literally said so-called high tiers, which is what most people tend to refer to you as, which you're clearly not. And another thing is the fact that you don't have to call yourself a debater to be one. You're literally debating me right now. We're in a dialectical method. In case you don't know what that is, it's a debate. Any argument is a debate. You don't have to call yourself a debater to be one.
So you're starting to have emotional responses, so yeah, I don't need to say more. Ghost Rider will treat Goku like an NTR victim.
Goku will literally bend Ghost Rider over and give him doggy style and then solo the verse, bro. You scaled Ghost Rider to multiversal. I can literally outscale everything you scaled Ghost Rider and Toa to with a single scan, where it states in the Dragon Ball Daizenshu 4 guidebook that the afterlife is a plane that transcends dimensions that cannot be perceived by humans. If it transcends dimensions that humans cannot perceive, it would mean that it transcends the 5th dimension and the 6th dimension, or it transcends the 4th and the 5th, however you want to see it, since it transcends the dimensions that they cannot perceive. So it would be above at least 4D. making it fifth to sixth dimensional, and this is a low ball without any context. It's not too late to join the Discord, Starscream. I literally have 1,000+ people waiting for it.